If you're just getting started with the Canon Rebel XSI, let me show you a couple tips in order to properly set up the camera, in order to optimize it for just about every picture. For videos on how to set up the camera for specific scenes, go to lbguides.com. First, let me go ahead and cover some of the basic features on the camera. Here you'll notice you have a hot shoe for a large external flash. This can be very helpful because the built-in flash is really only good for about 15 feet. Here is your mode dial. The P stands for program, and this is probably the mode that I most often use. I would highly recommend sticking to this mode. The other modes above the P are your creative modes, which allow you to set the shutter and the aperture or both. The green square is fully automatic, and these modes below the green square are profile modes or scene modes that automatically set up the camera for that specific scene. I don't use these very often because they limit you very, very much. Everything is automated, including things like ISO and white balance, and those are things that I highly recommend changing in order to optimize the picture. This dial is used to change the shutter or the aperture setting, or both. In the back you have your navigation buttons, right, left, up, and down. That will help you navigate through the menu. On the left side you have the flash button and the depth of field button, which closes down the aperture and allows you to see how much of the picture is in focus. On the bottom you have the tripod mount and the battery door. Just go ahead and press this down and pull back on the door to open that. Move the white locking mechanism over to pop the battery out. This camera uses a lithium-ion battery that lasts a very, very long time. This is actually a very nice battery. You can use the battery to nudge the white locking mechanism over in order to place the battery back in its slot. Press that until it locks. The battery door can actually be removed in order to place a battery grip on the bottom of the camera. The battery grip will replace the battery. The battery will be inserted into the grip instead of this slot, and the grip will be threaded into the tripod mount. The door, if you hold it at a 45-degree angle and just pull it out, it'll come right off. To place it back in, again 45 degrees, and just push it back in. You want to close this all the way so the camera can turn on. The memory card is in this door right here. Just place your fingernail in this ridge and push it back. The memory card is SD. Just press it in to release. The sticker or the face of the memory card should be towards the back of the camera. And press it until you hear a click, and the card should stay in. Close the door, and you're ready to take a picture. With DSLRs, as opposed to regular point-and-shoot digital cameras, you pretty much have to use the viewfinder. This particular model does provide you with a live view option, but that's really designed specifically for product photography, and you can see more about that in the product photography video. But for now, you're going to use the viewfinder. When you use the viewfinder, and especially if you have eyeglasses, what you want to do is actually take the glasses off, focus the camera, and then put your eye up to the viewfinder and move this little diopter dial in order to calibrate the viewfinder to your prescription. Once you see through the viewfinder it's in sharp focus, then you're okay to go. Let's go ahead and turn the camera on. Right now you can see that I'm in the fully automatic mode, and with this option my menu options are very, very limited, so I don't want to use this. I'm going to go to P for program and press menu. Now by default the resolution is set to the highest quality JPEG possible, and I'm going to go ahead and leave that. I'm not going to get into RAW. If you want to know more about RAW files, check out the glossary section at lbguides.com. All these settings are really just fine. There's really just one thing here that I want to point out, and it's in the second record tab. Go ahead and move over and then go down to where it says color space. Now if you press set, you'll see that you have an option of sRGB or Adobe RGB. And a lot of people assume that Adobe RGB is better because it's a larger color space. And technically, it is true, it is a larger color space. However, realistically speaking, with most pictures, you'll really never see a difference. And on top of that, it really just complicates the issue. For the easiest way of maintaining accurate color from when you take the picture to the computer monitor and to your printer is by sticking to sRGB. So I would recommend just stay with sRGB and avoid using Adobe RGB altogether. Just press set. Lastly, and really the only thing that I would recommend changing or at least setting in the menu is the date and time. Just move over to the second Setup tab and go down to date and time. Make sure the date and time are set properly. If this is a brand new camera for you, as soon as you turn it on, it probably is prompting you to set the date and time. This is very, very important because those image organizing applications such as iPhoto, Adobe Photoshop Album, and Adobe Bridge use this information, which is embedded into every file in order to organize the pictures. So let's go back into the menu, press set, use the right or left navigation buttons to move the highlighted field over, and press set to access that field, then choose up or down to set the proper setting. Choose set again to escape from that field, and just keep moving over until everything is set up properly. You can use this option to change the order of the date. Go ahead and press the right button to select OK and press set once that has been set up. Press menu to escape the main menu. Now just about everything is set up. The last thing I want to do is make sure that my white balance and ISO are set properly. By default, the ISO is set to auto, and I don't like that because sometimes it'll choose a higher ISO than 100, and because I know I have plenty of light, again, I'm assuming we're outdoors, I want to go with 100 and no more to maintain the best image quality. Press ISO right here. You can press that with your index finger, and then just press down to select 100. Press set or give it a second to go away. Now with white balance, mine is currently set to daylight, which is great. If yours is not, your white balance button is right here. Just press the white balance button and use the right or left navigation buttons to move the highlighted square over. I'm going to go with daylight, press set, and now those two are set. Now in the program mode, you should know that the flash is not automatic. So you have to either use it or not use it, and you need to know whether you want to use it or not. You can't let the camera decide, because if the flash is down, it just won't use it. In order to use the flash, just press the flash button right here, and the flash will pop up. Now we're outside. Let's say we're taking a picture of a person, so I want to use the flash in order to eliminate any kind of shadows. The last thing is the focusing, and this is very, very important. By default, the focusing is set to auto select, which it looks at all the focusing points, and when you look through the viewfinder, you'll see those focusing points, and the camera will judge where it should focus. This is a problem if you have anything closer to the camera than the subject on which you're trying to focus. So this is your focusing button right here. This will allow you to choose a different focusing point. Just press that button and then use the dial up here to select the center focusing point. Press the button again to escape, and now when you look through the viewfinder, only the center focusing point will look for a subject on which to focus. So now you've got your ISO at 100, the white balance is set to daylight, and you're focusing right on the center where you should be, and you are ready to take your picture. To find out much more about digital photography and your digital camera, go to lbguides.com.